The news day continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Danny Laurel. Now here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. Finance Chief Benjamin Diokno warns of a fiscal collapse if the government does not overhaul the military pension system. Diokno said the administration of President Bongbong Marcos will push for military pension reform, saying the current setup is unsustainable. He explained that retired personnel are getting an average monthly pension of 40,000 pesos. That's 9 times higher than what those under the Social Security system are receiving.
So there will come a time when the current budget will only be about one third or one fourth of the money that we're paying for the pensioners. Okay, so we have to really address that issue. It's not sustainable. I said if this goes on, there will be a fiscal collapse.
For one, Diokno said they want to require all active military personnel and new entrants to contribute to their pension. He also proposed to remove indexation of pension to the salary of active personnel of similar rank and raise the age to receive their pension to 57 from the 56.
Right now, the situation is so bleak, for example, that if you compare the current operating expenditures or maintenance and operating expenditures of the whole AAFP and the capital outlays, so the money they buy for airplanes, etc., it is actually much less than the amount of pension that we are allocating for the retirees.
Now, when asked about the proposal for pension reforms, Armed Forces spokesperson Colonel Medal Aguilar said it is too early to talk about it. The Bangko Sentral sees cross-border payment connectivity in 2 to 3 years. BSP Governor Felipe Medalla said he is looking forward to working with other central banks in Southeast Asia. In November of 2022, the BSP signed a Memorandum of Understanding with other central banks for payment connectivity. It was signed by Bank of Indonesia, Bank Negara Malaysia, Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the Bank of Thailand. Medalla said cross-border payment connectivity will support and facilitate more economic activities. It will include a number of modalities, including QR code and fast payment for a more inclusive financial ecosystem. Now, the Energy Department says it will not intervene on the pending ruling on an appeal to extend ancillary services contracts on a monthly basis. This as the National Grid Corporation sought the DOE's authorization to extend contracts which allow it to tap standby power capacity. The NGCP warned of possible power interruptions during the dry season after the ERC rejected its initial request for a month-on-month contract extension. However, the DOE said it will wait for the Energy Regulatory Commission and the NGCP to settle the motion for reconsideration. The government says it relies on the newly created water management body amid the looming impact of El Nino. Malacanang said President Bongbong Marcos has high hopes on the Water Resource Management Office. According to the president, part of its plan is to shift from traditional water sources to surface water. The new office will also oversee the construction of infrastructure like flood control systems. Marcos hopes the bills seeking the establishment of the Department of Water Management would soon materialize.
So it's just really a question of managing our water. We kept postponing this problem over the many years at every level. So it's time to put it together, to put in a cohesive plan na masusundan ng lahat ng LGU, masusundan ng lahat ng mga agencies of government.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. you're still watching One News Now. I'm Danny Laurel. Finance Chief Ben Diokno says President Bongbong Marcos has approved the proposal to merge two state-run banks, the Land Bank of the Philippines and the Development Bank of the Philippines. Finance Chief Ben Diokno defended the plan, saying that merging the two public lenders would result in the country's biggest banks in terms of assets. Diokno also cited the need to strengthen the government bank amid issues in the global banking sector. The merger is seen to save the government 5 billion pesos per year. It is expected to take effect this year, but so far there is still no definite timeline. Land Bank will be the merger's surviving entity.
By merging the two, it will now become the number one bank in the Philippines. And that's really the best practice. The biggest bank usually is owned by the state globally.
Diokno also assured the public that no sectors will be compromised by the merger.
None of the services provided by either bank will be lost. And we assured him that with the merger, because both the Land Bank and DBP are universal banks, they do almost the same, right? Except that one is focused on agri, the other one on industrial projects. But they do practically the same.
An official of the Trade Department says the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or the RCEP agreement, will likely take effect for the Philippines in June. Trade Assistant Secretary and RCEP lead negotiator Alan Gepti said the government plans to deposit the instrument of ratification for the country's participation in the mega trade deal by April 3rd. This instrument will be sent to the Secretary General of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or the ASEAN. The RCEP will then take effect 60 days from this. The deposit of the instrument, according to Gepti. The Philippines was the last participating country to ratify the RCEP. The Senate only gave it concurrence last February 21st due to concerns raised by the agriculture sector. Now, Metro Pacific Investments is set to acquire 1.6 billion shares in SP New Energy Corporation, or SPNEC, for 2 billion pesos. The shares are equivalent to a 16% stake in SPNEC. The investment is seen to expand the MVP group of companies' investment in the renewable energy sector. Meanwhile, the SPNEC will use the proceeds to fund its land investments in Nueva Ecija, where it plans to build Asia's largest solar project. Now, the 5-kilometer Caloocan España section of the NLEX connector is now open to the public, and toll fees will be free for a limited time. NLEX Corp said it will issue another announcement on when it will charge toll fees from the motorists. The expressway was recently inaugurated by no less than President Bongbong Marcos. The Caloocan España section of the NLEX connector seeks to cut travel time between Caloocan and Manila to 5 minutes from 30 minutes. NLEX Corp says it's timely as they anticipate the influx of travelers during the Holy Week. And speaking of Holy Week, aviation authorities are now preparing for the expected rush of passengers. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines expects around 2 million passengers traveling via air for the Holy Week. Now, for this reason, authorities are advising passengers to arrive at the airport at least 2 or 3 hours before their flights. CAAP assures airport workers will be all hands on deck to accommodate and avoid inconveniencing passengers.
Nag-augment ng ating mga tauhan at cancel muna yung mga leaves at nag-coordinate din kami doon sa mga operators ng airline dito sa ating mga paliparan, magdagdag sila ng tao, especially doon sa check-in counters para hindi ma-inconveniente yung ating mga pasahero. Yung ating po namang malasakit help desk ay binabantayan po naman ng ating mga tauhan para po sakaling may mga kailangan yung ating mga pasahero masisilbihan mo yung kanilang pangangailangan.
And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Danny Laurel. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time.